A 37-year-old actor sends his mother a final message. 24 hours later, he's dead, and Chinese authorities close the case before real questions can even be asked. This isn't a movie or another wild conspiracy. This happened a few months ago, and several other celebrities in this video died under circumstances that were too convenient to question. We're about to examine deaths where official explanations never matched the evidence, where power protected perpetrators, and where justice was sacrificed for political convenience. By the end, you'll understand why these stories should terrify you the same way it terrifies us. Thanks for clicking on this video. We're just a group of friends with regular 9-to-5s, but these stories haunt us enough to spend our nights bringing them to you. We don't ask for much, just your subscription, a like, and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from, because we would like to know which country most of our viewers are watching from. Thank you for believing in what we're doing. Every single one of you makes this possible. Case number 1. Yu Menglong. The shocking news broke out in Beijing on September 11th, 2025. Police arrived at a high-rise apartment building in the Chaoyang district, and what they found would spark international outrage that continues today. Yu Menglong lay dead at the base of the building. He was 37 years old, and within 24 hours, authorities closed the case. They called it an accidental fall after a night of heavy drinking, ruled out foul play without detailed explanation, and the official investigation was done. But that's where this story really begins. The official narrative fell apart under scrutiny. Videos began circulating online showing CCTV footage from the building's parking lot. The man believed to be Yu was seen being grabbed by someone, hit multiple times, and struggling to break free. Other footage allegedly showed activity near his apartment window on the night he died. Chinese censors moved fast. Posts about Yu disappeared from Weibo and Douban within minutes of being published. Hashtags were blocked, and discussions were systematically erased. Anyone who questioned the official story risked having their accounts suspended, or worse. Several people were reportedly arrested simply for demanding an independent investigation. But the censorship backfired. The more authorities deleted, the more people became convinced they were hiding something. Chinese netizens are resourceful, so they found creative ways around the keyword filters. They started referencing Yu by his character name, Bai Zhen, from the hit drama Eternal Love, or they'd post lyrics from sad songs as code. And international platforms outside the Great Firewall became spaces where the truth could be discussed freely. Yu's management company Tianyu Media issued a brief statement confirming his death and asking for privacy. The statement was cold and corporate, offering no real explanation and raising more questions than it answered. Fans noticed that Yu had actually ended his relationship with Tianyu Media months before his death, so why were they still involved? The financial impact was immediate. Tianyu Media and its parent company Mango Super Media saw their stock prices collapse. Within 48 hours, Mango Super Media lost $1 billion in market value. By the end of September, shareholder value had dropped 29%. Investors lost confidence because they could see what everyone else saw. The official story didn't add up. High-ranking executives started resigning. Luo Zejun, vice president of Mango Super Media, stepped down. Shen Yadong, general manager of Tianyu Media, resigned citing personal reasons. Social media users called these resignations exactly what they looked like: attempts to escape accountability before investigators could connect the dots. Allegations against specific individuals emerged online. Actor Fan Shiki became a primary target of fan anger. His shows were cancelled, brands terminated advertising contracts with him, and his films were shelved. Whether these allegations have merit remains unclear, but the speed and intensity of the backlash showed how desperate people were for someone to be held accountable. Rumors spread that Yu had been investigating financial crimes, possibly money laundering operations connected to powerful political figures. Some claimed he possessed evidence on a USB drive, and that evidence got him killed. Others suggested he'd been held hostage in that building for days, possibly subjected to assault before being pushed or thrown from the window. These claims remain unverified, But they gained traction because they explained what the official story could not. Why would a successful actor with everything to live for get drunk and fall from a building? Why was the investigation closed so quickly? Why were authorities so aggressive about silencing anyone who asked questions? Yu's fan club had been mysteriously shut down months before his death, cutting off his direct connection to admirers. People who investigated his schedule found inconsistencies. He was supposedly planning an art exhibition in mid-September, but when researchers contacted the galleries mentioned, they discovered no such exhibition had ever been scheduled. Witnesses claimed Yu had lost extreme weight in the 3 months before his death. Photos from early September showed someone who looked unwell, possibly with visible injuries, including swelling on his head. These observations fueled speculation that he'd been under duress for weeks or months before the fatal incident. The pattern was disturbing. Tianyu media had represented other celebrities who died under questionable circumstances. In 2006, singer Tan Beiqi died in an unusual car accident. In 2011, actor Shang Yubo fell from a high-rise building. In 2015, singer Beyoncé also fell from a building in Tianjin. Now Yu Menglong joined this list, and people started asking if these were really just tragic coincidences. International media picked up the story. BBC Foreign Policy, the Straits Times, and the Sydney Morning Herald all reported on Yu's death and the subsequent censorship campaign. An online petition demanding an independent investigation gathered over 390,000 signatures from people around the world who wanted justice for someone they'd never met. China's propaganda apparatus tried to control the narrative, but found themselves outmaneuvered. When the Taiwan Affairs Office opened a Facebook page to influence Taiwanese audiences, the comment sections were immediately flooded with demands for answers about Yu Menglong. The very platform meant to extend Beijing's influence became a forum for dissent, exposing the limits of authoritarian information control. Yu Menglong grew up as the son of a single mother. Friends and colleagues described him as kind and humanitarian, someone who used his platform to help others. He'd built a career through talent and hard work, earning recognition for roles in popular dramas like Go Princess Go, The Legend of White Snake, and Eternal Love. None of that protected him from whatever happened on September 11th. His name has been systematically erased from Chinese media. Songs were removed from platforms, mentions deleted from streaming services like Netflix, and attempts made to wipe him from the collective memory. But you can't erase someone when millions of people refuse to forget, and international attention makes that erasure impossible. The case reveals how celebrity deaths in China follow a recurring pattern. Official rulings of suicide or accident are announced quickly, investigations close before real questions can be asked, and anyone who demands transparency faces censorship or worse. The public has learned not to trust these convenient explanations, especially when powerful figures might be implicated. Yu Menglong's story isn't just about one actor's tragic death. It's about a system where truth is optional, where justice depends on political convenience, and where powerful people can allegedly operate with complete impunity. Whether Yu was murdered, as many believe, or died in circumstances authorities want hidden, the cover-up tells us everything we need to know about the value placed on human life when that life becomes inconvenient. If you believe Yu Menglong deserves justice, if the censorship and rapid case closure make you angry, if you think powerful figures should answer for what happened, then subscribe right now and turn on notifications. Don't let them erase this story. Share this video so people outside China know what happened and why it matters. Case number 2. Marilyn Monroe. The phone rang at 4:30 in the morning on August 5, 1962 in Los Angeles. Police rushed to a modest home in Brentwood, and what they found would spark 6 decades of questions. Marilyn Monroe lay dead in her bedroom at just 36 years old. The official report called it probable suicide by barbiturate overdose, but the evidence didn't quite add up from the start. She had supposedly ingested enough sleeping pills to kill her, yet investigators found no glass of water anywhere near her body. Swallowing that many pills without liquid would be nearly impossible. So where was the glass? The coroner noted oral ingestion, but this basic detail made no sense. Phone records from Marilyn's house that night mysteriously vanished before investigators could examine them properly. Someone made calls during her final hours, but police never traced who she spoke to. Those missing records have never been found, and that absence feels deliberate. The autopsy raised even more questions among pathologists who couldn't agree on key findings. Some pointed out that drug distribution in her system didn't match typical oral ingestion patterns, suggesting alternative explanations that were never officially explored. Marilyn's connections to powerful political figures fueled decades of speculation. She had relationships with both President John F. Kennedy and his brother Robert Kennedy, who served as Attorney General. Some witnesses claimed Robert Kennedy visited her home the day she died, though this was never officially confirmed. The timing felt suspicious because Marilyn had become increasingly vocal about these relationships, and some feared she might go public with intimate details. Her housekeeper's story changed multiple times over the years. First, she remembered events one way, then later, she recalled them differently. Why would someone's memory of such a traumatic night keep shifting unless something was being concealed? The investigation was rushed by any standard. Police arrived, made their assessment, and the case was closed relatively quickly. Some detectives who worked the scene later admitted they had unanswered questions, but by then, the official verdict had already been recorded and filed away. Marilyn became a symbol of how celebrity culture consumes and destroys. She was one of the biggest stars in the world, yet she died alone with more questions than answers. Friends said the studio system had treated her as disposable property, demanding perfection while offering no genuine support. The barbiturates found in her system were legally prescribed medications. She'd struggled with insomnia and anxiety for years, taking various pills to cope with fame's intense pressure. But whether she took those final doses herself or someone helped remains an open question that probably won't ever be definitively answered. Case number 3. Michael Jackson. June 25, 2009. Marks the day the world lost the king of pop. But 16 years later, questions about his death continue dividing fans and family members who believe the official story hides a darker truth. Michael Jackson died at his Los Angeles mansion from acute propofol intoxication. Dr. Conrad Murray was convicted of involuntary manslaughter and served less than 2 years in jail. But many argue that conviction was just the beginning of a story that goes much deeper into conspiracy and control. The official narrative says Murray administered the surgical anesthetic propofol to help Michael sleep after grueling rehearsals for his 50 shows This Is It London residency. But handwritten notes allegedly written by Michael weeks before his death tell a different story. "I'm afraid someone is trying to murder me," one note reportedly reads, while another asserts, "The system wants to kill me for my catalog." Michael's sister LaToya has repeatedly claimed there was a conspiracy to kill her brother. She says Michael told her directly, "LaToya, I'm going to be murdered for my music publishing catalog and my estate." His daughter Paris told Rolling Stone magazine she was convinced her father had been murdered. "All arrows point to that," Paris said. "It sounds like a total conspiracy theory, and it sounds like bullshit. But all real fans and everybody in the family knows it." The catalog Michael spoke about was worth billions. He owned half of Sony ATV Music Publishing, which included the Beatles catalog and thousands of other valuable songs. Some theorists believe powerful music industry figures wanted that catalog back and were willing to do anything to get it, including destroying Michael's career with allegations and ultimately taking his life when he refused to sell. Prince Jackson, Michael's oldest son, testified during the wrongful death lawsuit that his father would cry after phone calls with AEG Live executives. After he got off the phone, he would cry, Prince testified. He would say, "They're going to kill me. They're going to kill me." His father told him he was talking about AEG Live CEO Randy Phillips and his ex-manager, Dr. Tome Tome. The financial pressure was immense. AEG Live had invested approximately $30 million into the This Is It tour and needed Michael on that stage. Emails revealed during the wrongful death trial showed the extent of that pressure. When tour director Kenny Ortega expressed alarm about Michael's deteriorating health, Phillips responded by praising Murray and essentially ordering the doctor to get Michael ready for rehearsals. One email from AEG Live tour accountant Tim Woolley stated explicitly, "Randy Phillips and Dr. Murray are responsible for MJ rehearsal and attendance schedule." This suggests Murray wasn't just Michael's personal physician, but was under direct pressure from concert promoters to ensure Michael performed regardless of his condition. Murray's behavior the night Michael died raised serious questions. He waited an unusually long time to call 911, performed CPR incorrectly despite being a cardiologist, and made numerous phone calls before finally seeking emergency help. Some believe this delay was intentional, that Murray knew Michael was already dead and was busy covering his tracks and disposing of evidence. The conspiracy theories extend even further. Some fans believe Michael faked his own death to escape crushing fame and financial pressure. They point to alleged inconsistencies in autopsy photos compared to TMZ ambulance photos, question why the family held a closed casket funeral, and claim to have spotted Michael in various locations since 2009. These theories persist despite official confirmation of his death and lack any credible evidence. Others suggest Michael was murdered accidentally during a botched attempt to keep him compliant and performing. They argue that Murray administered propofol regularly at AEG's indirect pressure, and one night, the dose was simply too much. Whether this was incompetence or intentional remains hotly debated. The wrongful death lawsuit, brought by Katherine Jackson and Michael's children against AEG Live, ended with the jury finding that while AEG did hire Murray, they had no reason to know he would be unfit or incompetent. The family lost the case, but the trial exposed uncomfortable truths about the pressure Michael faced and the financial machinery driving his comeback. What remains undeniable is that Michael Jackson's death was ruled a homicide. The Los Angeles County coroner officially classified it as such on August 28, 2009. Murray's conviction acknowledged his role, but whether other powerful figures should have faced consequences continues fueling conspiracy theories and family suspicions that justice was never truly served. Case number 4, Princess Diana. The world stopped on August 31, 1997. News spread in the early morning hours that Diana, Princess of Wales, had died in a car crash in Paris. She was 36 years old, and her death triggered an unprecedented outpouring of global grief. The crash occurred shortly after midnight in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. Diana was traveling with her boyfriend Dodi Al-Fayed, their driver Henry Paul, and bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones. They were attempting to evade paparazzi photographers who had been pursuing them through Paris that evening. Henry Paul, who was the Ritz Hotel's head of security, was driving the Mercedes at high speed when it crashed into a concrete pillar inside the tunnel. He and Dodi Al-Fayed were killed instantly. Diana was still alive when emergency responders arrived, but she was critically injured with internal bleeding from a torn pulmonary vein. Paramedics worked at the crash scene for nearly an hour before transporting Diana to Pitié-Salpêtrière Hospital. Doctors there performed emergency surgery, including opening her chest to massage her heart directly for 2 hours, but they couldn't save her. She was pronounced dead at 4 o'clock in the morning. The official investigation concluded that Henry Paul was driving under the influence of alcohol and prescription drugs. His blood alcohol level was 1.82 grams per liter, more than 3 times the legal limit in France. Toxicology tests also found traces of antidepressants and antipsychotic medication in his system. But the official explanation didn't satisfy everyone. Mohammed Al-Fayed, Dodi's father and owner of Harrods department store, insisted the crash was murder orchestrated by the British royal family. He claimed they wanted to prevent Diana from marrying his Muslim son and possibly becoming pregnant with his child. A British investigation called Operation Paget spent years examining these conspiracy theories. They found no evidence supporting claims of assassination, no proof of intelligence service involvement, and no indication of pregnancy. The inquest in 2008 returned a verdict of unlawful killing, citing the grossly negligent driving of both Henry Paul and the pursuing paparazzi. Yet questions persisted. Witnesses reported seeing a white Fiat Uno that may have clipped Diana's Mercedes just before the crash. Paint from such a vehicle was found on the wreckage, and pieces of a broken taillight were discovered at the scene. Despite extensive searches, investigators never conclusively identified that Fiat or its driver. Some witnesses claimed they saw a bright flash of light in the tunnel moments before the crash, leading to speculation about photographers' cameras, or even more elaborate theories involving intelligence services. The paparazzi who were following Diana were initially blamed for the crash, but investigations determined they arrived at the scene after the collision had already occurred. 9 photographers who had been tailing Diana and Dodi that evening were charged with manslaughter in France. The charges were eventually dropped in 2002, though 3 photographers were later convicted of invasion of privacy for taking pictures through the crashed car's open door. They each paid a symbolic fine of €1. The missing CCTV footage added fuel to conspiracy theories. Security cameras in the tunnel should have captured the crash, but that footage was never recovered or was reportedly malfunctioning that night. This convenient absence of video evidence struck many as suspicious, even though mundane technical failures were more likely explanations. Diana's relationship with the media had been complicated throughout her life. She'd used press attention strategically during her troubled marriage to Prince Charles, cooperating with photographers when it served her interests. But after her divorce, the constant surveillance became oppressive. She'd expressed concerns about paparazzi causing an accident due to their reckless pursuit tactics. The most damning detail that often gets overlooked was the fact that none of the car's occupants were wearing seatbelts. Trevor Rees-Jones, the only survivor, was initially reported to have been belted in, but later investigations confirmed he wasn't either. Experts testified that Diana likely would have survived the crash if she'd been properly restrained. That night in Paris revealed the toxic relationship between celebrity culture and media intrusion. Diana was literally being chased to her death by photographers, hoping to sell images to tabloids and magazines around the world. The market for Diana photos was so lucrative that paparazzi would risk anything, including her safety, for that one valuable shot. Her death forced a reckoning in Britain about press ethics and royal family protocols. Queen Elizabeth initially faced criticism for remaining at Balmoral Castle rather than immediately returning to London. Public anger at the perceived cold response eventually prompted the Queen to address the nation, a rare departure from traditional royal reserve. Diana's funeral on September 6th became one of the most watched events in television history, with an estimated 2.5 billion viewers worldwide. Her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, were just 15 and 12 years old respectively when they walked behind their mother's coffin through London streets lined with mourners. The conspiracy theories surrounding Diana's death continue to circulate, despite thorough official investigations finding no evidence of foul play. Some people find it easier to believe in elaborate plots than to accept that a drunk driver and aggressive paparazzi caused such a catastrophic loss. Human nature craves meaning in tragedy, and random accidents feel insufficient to explain the death of someone so beloved. What remains undeniable is that Diana's death exposed the deadly consequences of celebrity obsession. The paparazzi economy that had flourished around her for years ultimately contributed to her fatal crash. Whether through direct causation or the broader culture of invasion, the relentless media pursuit played a role in creating the conditions that killed her. The official verdict was unlawful killing due to grossly negligent driving, a conclusion that acknowledged both Henri Paul's impairment and the paparazzi's reckless behavior. But that verdict couldn't answer deeper questions about responsibility, about systems that enable and reward dangerous invasion of privacy, about an industry built on exploiting public figures regardless of the human cost. Case number 5, River Phoenix. Halloween night, 1993 started like any other at the Viper Room on Hollywood's Sunset Strip. By 1:51 in the morning, one of Hollywood's brightest young stars was dead on the sidewalk outside, at just 23 years old. River Phoenix collapsed after what Bob Forrest, a friend present that night, later described as a massive drug binge lasting several days. The official cause was acute multiple drug intoxication involving cocaine and morphine, but the circumstances raised questions that persist 3 decades later. River arrived around midnight with his girlfriend Samantha Mathis and siblings Joaquin and Rain. He was supposed to perform with friends from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but within an hour he was convulsing on the sidewalk while his brother made a frantic 911 call. Samantha later revealed disturbing details. "He was high in a way that made me feel uncomfortable," she told The Guardian. She went to the restroom, and when she returned, she saw River scuffling with another man. Shortly after that confrontation, he was outside dying. What happened during that altercation was never fully explained. The autopsy revealed morphine, cocaine, marijuana, Valium, and cold medicine. But here's where it gets strange. 3 prescription bottles found in River's apartment had been filled in Europe where he'd been filming. He was seeing multiple doctors across different countries, so no single physician knew what medications he was taking. The Drug Enforcement Administration investigated how River obtained the painkillers. They cleared 2 doctors who had legally prescribed some medications, but investigators never conclusively determined where all the substances in his body came from. Some pills had been prescribed, others had not, leaving gaps that were never filled. The Viper Room itself became controversial. Johnny Depp faced accusations of allowing drug use inside his club, charges he angrily denied. But River's death was just the beginning. Less than 2 years later, Jason Donovan suffered a cocaine overdose at the club, and Courtney Love also overdosed outside. Then there's Anthony Fox, Depp's business partner who sued him for fraud in 1999. Fox disappeared one day before his scheduled court testimony. His car was found abandoned, but his body was never recovered. While no evidence links Depp to this disappearance, the timing fed conspiracy theories about the venue. The public was shocked because River had cultivated an image as a clean living vegan and environmental activist. He seemed like the antithesis of Hollywood excess, yet people close to him knew he'd been struggling with severe insomnia and racing thoughts. The entertainment industry's culture of enabling destructive behavior had claimed another young life. Case number 6. Lucky Dube. The sun was setting over Johannesburg on October 18, 2007, when Lucky Dube dropped his 2 teenage children at his brother's house. Within minutes, Africa's biggest-selling reggae artist was dead at 43, shot by carjackers who allegedly didn't even recognize him. 3 armed men were prowling for Chrysler vehicles that night, and Lucky happened to be driving a Chrysler 300C. They trailed him through the streets, and when he escaped their first attempt, they caught up with him outside his uncle's house. His children had already exited the vehicle when the gunman shot Lucky twice at close range. Julius Giksoa, Mbuti Mabe, and Sifiso Mahlanga were convicted on March 31, 2009, each receiving life sentences. But court testimony revealed details that didn't quite fit the simple carjacking narrative. One state witness claimed the attackers targeted Lucky under the false assumption that he was Nigerian. This detail is significant because it hints at ethnic targeting rather than simple vehicle theft. South Africa in 2007 was experiencing extreme xenophobic violence against immigrants from other African nations. If Lucky's killers thought he was Nigerian, and that influenced their decision to shoot rather than just take the car, then his death wasn't the random crime authorities claimed. The timing raised additional suspicions. Lucky had been vocal about social issues throughout his career, using his music to criticize corruption and bad leadership across Africa. His lyrics addressed the failures of post-apartheid South Africa to deliver on its promises. Some wondered if his outspokenness had made him a target, though no evidence ever emerged to support this theory. Lucky grew up desperately poor, raised by his mother, who named him Lucky because she considered his birth fortunate. His first reggae album, Rastas Never Die, was banned by the apartheid government in 1985 for its critical lyrics. That ban only increased his credibility among black South Africans fighting for freedom. He won the Best-Selling African Musician Prize at the 1996 World Music Awards and earned over 20 awards locally and internationally. His music spoke to oppression and the struggle for justice in ways that transcended borders. But on that October evening, his killers showed him no respect whatsoever. The murder sparked national outrage across Africa. The crime statistics were staggering. 19,000 murders annually in South Africa, 52 people murdered each day, 200,000 robberies per year. Lucky's death became a symbol of how violent crime was spiraling out of control. Some still question whether the investigation was thorough enough. Were these really just random carjackers? Or was there more to the story? Did Lucky's outspoken criticism of African leaders make him a target? No credible evidence supports these theories, but in a country where most murders go unsolved, skepticism about official explanations is understandable. Africa lost one of its greatest musical voices to violence. Lucky survived apartheid's attempt to silence him, only to be killed by criminals in the supposedly free South Africa he'd fought for. That irony wasn't lost on anyone who understood his story. Case number 7, Prince Rogers Nelson. The elevator doors opened at Paisley Park on April 21, 2016, revealing Prince Rogers Nelson unresponsive at 57 years old. The Midwest Medical Examiner later determined he'd died from an accidental overdose of fentanyl, a synthetic opioid 50 times more powerful than heroin. But Prince had no prescription for fentanyl in his name. The drug that killed him was laced inside counterfeit Vicodin pills, bearing the stamp Watson 853, designed to look exactly like legitimate medication. Investigators found these fake pills throughout Paisley Park, including close to 100 in a Bayer aspirin bottle. Some tested positive for fentanyl, others didn't, creating a deadly lottery. The toxicology report revealed 67.8 micrograms per liter of fentanyl in Prince's blood, an exceedingly high concentration. Fatalities have been documented in people with levels ranging from 3 to 58. Prince's level was off the charts. After a 2-year investigation, Carver County Attorney Mark Metz announced no criminal charges would be filed. There is no reliable evidence showing how Prince obtained the counterfeit Vicodin containing fentanyl, Metz stated. This lack of accountability infuriated Prince's family and fans. 6 days before his death, Prince's private jet made an emergency landing in Moline, Illinois. He'd become unresponsive mid-flight, and paramedics administered naloxone, a medication that reverses opioid overdoses. Representatives claimed he had influenza, but the truth was he'd suffered an overdose from those same counterfeit pills. The day before he died, his team contacted California addiction specialist Dr. Howard Kornfeld seeking urgent help. Kornfeld sent his son Andrew to Minnesota with medication to treat opioid addiction, but Andrew arrived too late. Dr. Schulenberg became entangled when it emerged he'd prescribed oxycodone to Prince on April 14th, but put the prescription under Kirk Johnson's name for Prince's privacy. Schulenberg paid $30,000 to settle civil charges for writing an illegal prescription. The mystery of how Prince obtained the counterfeit fentanyl pills remains unsolved. Investigators examined everyone with access to Paisley Park, particularly Kirk Johnson, who had unrestricted access. They looked at doctors, pharmacies, and anyone who might have supplied the deadly counterfeits. Every lead went nowhere. Prince's history with opioids stretched back years. He'd suffered numerous injuries from decades of high-energy performances in high heels. His former musical director noted that, jumping off those pianos and speakers, that doesn't bode well for anybody. But it's not something he would talk about. Hip surgery in 2010 reportedly led to a Percocet prescription, potentially starting the addiction that ultimately killed him. But Prince guarded his privacy fiercely. So few people knew the extent of his struggles. These counterfeits are virtually indistinguishable from real pills. Someone experiencing chronic pain might turn to these pills without realizing they're playing Russian roulette. One pill might be harmless. The next might contain a lethal dose of fentanyl. Prince's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the hospital that treated him after the airplane emergency landing. The lawsuit alleges the hospital failed to timely and appropriately investigate the cause of his overdose and failed to take appropriate steps to prevent the foreseeably fatal result. The investigation files showed a man in pain trying to manage his condition privately. A man who didn't know the pills he was taking could kill him. A man whose fame couldn't protect him from the counterfeit drug epidemic. The questions about who provided those pills may never be answered. These stories share a pattern that should terrify anyone paying attention. From Beijing to Los Angeles, from Johannesburg to Minneapolis, fame offers no protection when systems fail and accountability disappears. Each death reveals how institutions meant to protect people turn around to hurt them. Official investigations close too quickly. Convenient explanations replace uncomfortable truths, and those with power escape consequences, while families are left with grief and unanswered questions. These aren't isolated tragedies. They're symptoms of systems that value profit over human life, that prioritize image over justice, that allow the powerful to operate with impunity. The real question isn't what happened to these celebrities. It's what we're going to do about the systems that killed them. Because right now, somewhere, another talented person is being chewed up by the same elements that destroyed everyone we just discussed about. If you believe these stories matter, if you think accountability should mean something, if you refuse to let convenient narratives replace truths, then subscribe, comment, and share this video. Don't let their deaths become just another forgotten tragedy. Your small effort might help in protecting someone you know and love.
I want to thank you for watching this story to the end. If you enjoyed this story, you're going to love what's coming next. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for instant updates on our latest videos. See you in the next one.